Welcome everybody to the Development Review Committee. This is July 2nd, 2026. First case we'll hear today, MI 2026-2, Next Era Energy Transmission, Mid-Atlantic, the Neatma Minor Subdivision. It's in the northwest corner of County Road 125 West and County Road 1050 North, Chesterton, Indiana, Liberty Township. Current zone 1 light industrial district, 15 acres. Today, they're requesting a primary plat approval for proposed one-lot subdivision. May the representatives come up, state your name and address, and describe what you're asking for today.
Nathan Flickner, 1402 East Mishawaka Avenue, South Bend, Whiteman. Today we are seeking primary approval of a 15-acre one-lot minor sub parcel, and I'm here for any questions you may have about that.
And who else is with you?
Hey, good morning. Sean Shortell with Next Era Energy Transmission Mid-Atlantic. Business address is 13 Executive Park Drive, Clifton Park, New York, 12065.
Very good. Well, we're missing two members. Start off, Dan Boyd has no comment on this one. That's our health department.
Correct.
David?
Let's see. We initially received application for this project January 28th of 2026 in the engineering department. After a series of reviews, we have found, yes, here we go. The conformance letter from Kelly Cadwell went out on June 23rd, 2026. Kelly took over this review and checked their latest submittal, which we received on June 12th against the review letter that I had written called Engineering Review Number 2, which was dated March 10th of 2026. So after a series of 3 reviews, this subdivision has been found in conformance with our standards.
Very good. Martin?
I know one of the comments we had at the informal review was the sidewalk, and I see that you added it everywhere except for the wet area in the southwest corner.
That's correct, yes.
Was that flagged as a wetland, or is it just a wet area that's difficult to work in?
It's just a wet area difficult to work in. Was not identified as a wetland.
Okay. I would say that there are ways to go to continue that sidewalk through that area. I'd want to see it extend to the end myself.
I think it was the expectation of the board they appeared before that would go the entire distance.
Yeah. So yeah, I would want to see that happen. It looks like maybe the break in the tree line is where you're thinking about putting the approach.
Sorry, say that again.
The break in the tree line, is that where you're thinking about putting the approach to the
Yes.
parcel? That should be, I mean, as far as placement goes, it looks to be okay with me. Do we usually show locations for these on the primary or an approach, or do we wait until secondary for that?
I suppose you could do that, negotiate before we sign the secondary.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
But I would think if it's a requirement.
Yeah, there should be separation.
I mean, separation, yeah, this property has plenty of separation. I mean,
And we review it at the time of driveway permit review, right? And it's,
Sure.
if it's not,
the location of the would be allowed.
right.
So we don't typically require that plat.
Okay.
That's not the original.
Okay. Thank you very much. But yeah, as far as the concept for that location, that looks good to me. I know we discussed that being a commercial access. Have you submitted for driveway permit at this time? I imagine not. I'm just making sure. Okay.
They still have to do a development plan.
Sure. Sure. I was just making sure it didn't come through to Matt Phillips' desk yet. I didn't have any other comments.
The requirement for the driveway permit was also highlighted on both of the latest two review letters from us, so that would also be seen again upon, for the request for secondary.
Thank you.
And I guess that there's a reminder, we're going to see more downstream technical plans that we can comment on, and we can also incorporate all the requirements that the BZA placed on their approvals of their variances. And I suppose I haven't looked at that. Have they listed all their variances on their plat?
I believe we did, yeah. The variances that we received, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Which plat you list them on?
I think they're on the notes here.
Yeah.
He's in the bottom left corner.
Yeah, that was our,
But I don't see the variance request. But put it on in the future.
Okay.
It's not gonna hold you up today, I don't think, so.
Martin, you have anything else?
No, that was it.
Yeah, I brought it up before. It's, as time goes on, you're gonna need an outlet for your pond. There's really not a lot of drainage outlets locally. That's why when this was first being developed, the developer, which was Charles Coker, worked with us and with the Brassy Golf Course, the drain up through the north, and we did a cooperative project, putting a drain toward the pond, but it's north of the former Wabash Railroad. But I'm not sure how far that developer got with his plans to do the east side of the property, but we did put in a drain up 400 or 500 feet north on the golf course. So
we
got our easements, and that's part of our drainage system.
so we're the southern 15-acre. Yeah, so there's a 15-acre gap that we don't own between us and the golf course.
Well, we have road right of way to work with.
Okay.
This is something to keep in mind for the future, because I'm not sure where you're going to outlet any detention pond or.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah, successfully, that is. Did the zoning people give variances for buffer, or I know they were hard on the property to the west and had a lot of additional requirements, I think, for that.
At the BZA, one of the things I can say from memory, they will put a solid fence in. They will put landscaping to soften the fence and the building around, and they'll still adhere to the perimeter landscaping standards in the UDO, which you're having a meeting with staff after this meeting.
That's right.
With your landscape architect, correct?
Yep. That's right.
My next question, landscaping, because you are so visible.
Understood.
Well, heavily.
Yeah.
But
There was also the condition you'll find a road maintenance agreement.
Yep.
1100 North. You can only use that road to get to 149
Sidewalks,
for the record.
landscaping buffer yards, that's denied.
yeah, and the fence.
Also, on this project, there is no detention pond proposed. The stormwater on this was addressed by converting the cropland to just on vegetation.
You'll get that when you do the development plan review. Yeah.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure that with these minutes being recorded, that it was understood that at this point there's never been a proposed pond associated with this project.
Well, and I just wanted to keep in mind, we made great efforts to create an outlet, but somehow that would require cooperative with the owner to the north, which I assume is also the seller of this property. I could be wrong, but those are just some things to keep in mind. And through your agreements, I would just make sure that you have some agreements with them in advance, just in case they sell, so the land is enjoyed or encumbered with along the roadway.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting going up through the middle of their property or carte blanche, but just eventually they're going to have to dedicate right away to with their development.
Anything else, Kevin?
No.
Rich, do you have any comments?
I was hesitant to bring this up. We've had a lot of rain this year,
several times that I've driven past the site, especially where there's some areas with large areas of standing water. I'm a little concerned that that area that is identified as wetlands on the plan is not in fact, a wetlands and needs to be, protected, which then leads into Kevin's comment about an outlet for the, that flow that's going to be understanding transition from farm field to, a grassed area would eliminate with that standing water. And I appreciate the support because I think originally there was drainage to the north, but things got vacated, turned around. But I also have issues with what's on the east side of the road here, and there could just be coincidental ponding on 125 West. That is road is 125 West on the east side. That we just have to be mindful of that. Any development that takes place here, although historically that's been an issue with water from the east too, that it's been ponding there. So there's still a hump up there in the Wabash to get through these things. And I don't know if they ever replaced the pipe under the Wabash. That was one of the issues, was making sure the drainage was finished there. I can just speak to what we did to the north of the Wabash in cooperation with Brassey Golf Course. So you got to get the water up there too. So it's, but I could have sworn that Charles Coker. Now I'm reaching back 10 years, I think, at least 6. I don't recall. Is what I'm saying. But anyway, he was going to replace those pipe. Whether that ever happened or not, I can't say for sure.
That's good points. But we're here today for a primary plat. The development plan will address a lot of those issues, and those have been brought up before. But David, could you kind of summarize what you've looked at? You looked at something that's considered the development.
There were things that came in addition to the package that were reviewed by engineering between myself and Kelly Cadwell. Documents that have been received and reviewed by us over the course of the 3 reviews were the primary plat, a geotechnical engineering report, the CN calculations, another version of the primary plat, a set of civil drawings, a geotechnical engineering report, maintenance commitment statement, the final primary plat that we're all looking at now, and warehouse and storage civil drawing revisions that were received on 6/12.
And as far as stormwater management, were you satisfied with what you saw, considering what they're proposing?
Yes.
I'd like to bring up one more thing, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I believe there's been a lot of discussion on development of Brassey and the incorporation of that into the town of Chesterton. Only the very northern parts are in Chesterton at this point. But as they expand, it's possible they could grow down this way. And I just think that merits some thought and discussion. It's not a negative thing as far as for you guys, but you'll go ahead and proceed with our efforts here. This isn't unincorporated, so but just something to think about, and you might want to have conversations with the city of Chesterton or town of Chesterton to make sure that nobody gets blindsided in the whole process. You want to use their utilities, or there's a potential of expansion of utilities, and that could be advantageous for you. I really suspect that this won't be the only building on this property in the long run, but for future expansion or whatever, even though we don't do wastewater treatment plants or sanitary sewer, it merits discussion with the town of Chesterton for water supply and wastewater treatment.
Thank you, Kevin. Rich, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I'm sorry.
Do you have anything else?
No, I just looking at the GIS, turning on the DNR layers. they're showing a green, a light green area down in that southwest corner and then up in the northwest corner. And I don't know what these stand for. But I'd like you guys to at least look at that and make sure that.
Were those wetlands?
Well, I would suspect that the green is wetlands, but I don't know what the brown is on that.
Which layers?
DNR.
DNR, the NWI layer?
Oh, that's the
That would be the wetland.
the flood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be it. Where am I?
you're on it.
Am I on the right parcel?
No.
No,
Where am I?
over here. Move it over. That's why I was talking
Will you
about
touch
the
my
east
screen?
side
You
of
messed me up.
There it
I
is.
did that.
I don't know what those two. I don't know what the light green is or the brown.
Light green, I think, is wetland for some reason. Turn off the inventory layer just for a minute. Let's see if that turns. Yeah, those to do with wetlands.
Yeah, it's whatever grade of wetland that would be.
Yeah, whether
Yeah, we just
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, yeah, but they could still mitigate any impacts to those wetlands.
Or they could
So, or they could route around the
they could give
wetland as well.
yeah, and that's what I would recommend. Don't even mess around.
But that's
That's their choice.
but that's something
Yeah.
for the site plan to comment on. So
Also, the on that note, I believe the UDO calls for 5-foot sidewalks instead of 4-foot, unless a variance is granted on that, which I don't think it was.
Yeah, we can update that for the site plan.
Okay.
Yep. So, sorry, just to understand, where do you want us to go with the sidewalk now? If
That's your choice. You can either go through the wetland and mitigate it, go through the proper procedure to do that, or you can route around it and give those rights on your plat. The
Like it-
dedication of easements and
public side.
such.
So you just have to give a public.
understood.
now it's whether it's a waters of the U.S. or an isolated wetland is going to have a big impact if you decide to go through. So first things first, figure that one out.
And there is a legend that will tell you what those different colors and designations indicate.
Yeah, it's not on our GIS. It isn't.
It's not on the GIS.
You have to go to U.S. Fish and Wildlife or
Correct. Yeah.
to go view that.
Correct.
Rich, anything else?
No, that's it.
Susan?
This project did get planning conformance on 618. Maybe both of these today. The BZ landscaping requirements and fencing requirements will be pushed out in the development plan. They're not required for the subdivision portion, but all of the landscaping and all of the conditions of the BZA will be provided in the development.
And the sidewalk and the driveway, all those technical.
The sidewalk is part of the subdivision too. So the sidewalk and the application needs to either be built or bonded before they can get technically plat for this. And as far as the it being 5 feet instead of 4 feet, that's the construction detail. I don't check that in my review, but I would recommend making that a condition of your approval today that the sidewalks extend to the property line and that they are entitled to 5 feet in width.
Okay. Anything else? Any of the board members comment?
Just as a comment as a surveyor, it's Bernstein, not Bernstein.
Okay.
Monument, the section corner monument.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone would like to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Contingent upon
Contingent upon
sidewalk being widened to the 5-foot per UDO, going the full length of the property, either around the wetland or through it and mitigate it properly. I think that was all the comments, and then, well, I guess the rest of it comes at later dates, correct?
well, even that does too, but I'm fine with it.
Second? Anybody?
Second.
There's a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I will not be at the meeting, but Susan will meet with you after the meeting, discuss your landscaping. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Sean. You got that agreement, right? I got. I just figured. All right. Next on the agenda is case M 2026-7 Kelly G. Hall, Shannon Hall Minor Subdivision, 918 South, 250 West, Hebron, Indiana. It's Boone Township. Zoning is A1 General Agricultural District. Acreage is 272.62 acres. This is a primary plat approval for a proposed 3-lot subdivision. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you introduce yourself, names and address?
Okay. Hey, I'm Kelly G. Hall, 258 West, 900 South, Hebron, Indiana.
And Bill Davies with Davies Land Surveying, 1105 North, 100 East in Chesterton.
Very good. Good morning.
Morning.
Explain what you're here before us today for your primary plat.
Bill, would you give? I think that mic is off right now. Would you give that a tap? That green light
Right in the center.
should be the button right there.
Oh, we're on there.
How's that? We're here for a primary plat approval of a 3-lot proposed subdivision in Boone Township. We were here last month to get some variances. Those went through. There's an existing gravel road that goes through the subdivision. They will need to improve certain parts of that to county highway standards and put a cul-de-sac in on the west side of the property. We've looked at the two proposed septics will work. Lot 1 is an existing house that will go from Mr. Mr. Hall's mom to the sister. Let's see, lot 2 will be going to one of the sons, and that'll be built sooner than later.
Probably, most likely in the next 5 years, we hope, possibly.
And then lot 3 will be the other son.
That's the one that we want to go ahead and get on with the breaking ground with as soon as possible. That's going to be our retirement home right there.
Okay. And that's why we're here.
Okay. David?
Yes, let's see. We initially received application for the primary plat on February 25th of 26, and after a series of 2 engineering reviews, conformance was found in a letter from myself dated March 3rd, 2026. One of the comments that we had worked out, I just want to point out at this point, was related to the rain garden and the geotechnical report. One of the reasons why we bring that up to folks is rain gardens aren't something we typically see a whole ton of, but they can also, if not done properly, become more of a headache than a benefit. So the thing that you'll want to look out for when this thing is built is that when it's being excavated, you don't want those vehicles then driving through the bowl to get to the other side. If that soil gets compacted inside of it, it's useless,
Right.
and it's going to become a maintenance. It's going to become a huge maintenance headache. So just you might want to keep an eye on that and make sure that the folks that are doing it, again, they're excavating out. They're not going through. They're not compacting those soils. This performance is highly sensitive to what's in the bowl and how it gets treated while it's being built.
Okay. Yeah, that sand soil that we got tends to turn to cement. I know. Notice we dug a pond, kind of a retention pond, right there. That's on the site there by lot 2 or lot 3. I'm sorry. But yeah, that sand we used for fill when we built our house back in '98, which is on 900 South, and it sets up pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever type of sand it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Be very cautious of that. I believe other than that was the only.
We did.
Yeah, that was the only thing of substance that was really. We had some text that had to be updated and whatnot throughout the course of the review. And then
I was gonna say
we had also requested, I believe it's on there, the records regarding decisions with development standard variances. I'm assuming that all those I believe all those are listed because we did.
Yeah, those are on the first page.
Excellent.
Okay. On that page, I was scanning real quick.
which item we're looking for.
The variances.
I believe on the first page.
Yeah, I believe it was on there because I think I checked that when I issued.
All that word.
There's a lot of words.
I would also point out that Dan Boyd, who was not able to be here today, provided his comments in advance of the meeting. And regarding Shannon Hall Minor, Dan Boyd had no comments or concerns.
Doesn't say what.
Is that it?
That's it.
For the record, Dan Boyd from the health department could be here, has no comments or concerns. Kevin?
Yeah, we were just discussing, it does have note 36 referring to the variances, but, and I guess, yeah, note 35 also has references to them. I just thought there'd be a little bit more about the design variance on lot 36, what that was, but that's fine. No, Martin and I were just discussing the bridging of the private road and making sure the emphasis is on the responsibility on the property owners. It's not a county bridge or liability, and something to bear in mind because replacement could be very expensive if and when that pipe fails. And it will fail. It might be 100 years from now. It might be 50 years from now, but we just need to make sure that we limit the liability of the public. You have 3 parcels. You're going to make the roadway agreement for all these people to take care of and maintain that. That's another issue as far as private drains. The issue, and one of the reasons I was talking about it, because I want to make sure that arm wasn't part of Phillips. I don't know why I was thinking of that, but so you're not going to need to go to the drainage board for permission to outlet.
Correct.
The perimeter drains for but I would suggest that you have some kind of delineator, fence post or something by the outlet so you know where that's at, and your future owners, we never think about the guys 50 years from now or 20 years from now, but have something there to mark where that's coming out, keep track of it. Health department will make sure you have a varmint guard on it, and here particularly South County, I really suggest getting varmint guards on everything because muskrat population is huge down here. They'll block off your drain. You have to watch bird populations in this because it's not part of the regulated drain. We're not necessarily obligated to trap and maintain this for the beaver. That's something your dad dealt with all the time. I knew Kelly.
Yeah.
But it's just the population of wild animals out here.
Anything else?
Do we have enough of a building line back? Now, is the building line from the property line, Susan? The center line of the ditch is the property line, I assume, and they got a building setback of 30 feet. So the building setback's from that center line of the ditch?
Okay. It looks like here.
That's what it kind of looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it looks like it's approximate center of the ditch.
And normally I'd say that's really not enough because usually when you're working with these waterways, a lot of times going back to the muskrat beaver, they're bank dwellers. You have a bank cave in or something, you might want to put a little bit more from the top of bank over just to make sure you have enough room to work in the future or the property owners. It's just one of those things we don't have much to say about it, I don't think. Do we have a requirement in our code as far as lakes and ditches?
The water side setback for property, but it is also 30.
But 30 feet from, check that out.
From top of bank or
From the top of the bank.
That's what I suspect.
At whatever what's the word?
ordinary high water mark.
Well, yeah, in this case, I would suggest top of bank is probably more the terminology they use because high water marks
100 year.
are going to be, that will be pretty high too. Close, but probably not top of bank in this case. But the bottom line is your building line isn't far enough is not as far back as that drainage easement should be. And those are the reasons, because that way it'll help you maintain and get, let's say one of the neighbors gets flooded out, they can get back there.
Is that for an existing building or a proposed building?
For the building line itself, correct?
Yeah, for the drainage, but
there's existing buildings out there they got variances on.
Well, this will affect the proposed building on lot 3.
That's what I mean. It's the proposed, then yes. Yeah, that's why I want to make clear for the record, because he did get variances for 2 proposed structures or 2 existing structures out there. A silo and a metal building is already out there.
They're
right.
They're over other lots.
Okay, just to be clear.
But yeah, they should be way clear of this issue I'm talking about. But that's something I strongly recommend. That just come from top of bank back 30 feet, and that way you have a little bit more wiggle room should there be a bank failure or other issue.
So is this something covered in the UDO already, Susan?
Yeah.
So when they come in and apply for building permits, that will kick in then?
Yeah, it needs to be at least 30 feet from the base flood elevation if it's been established.
So that'll be addressed when they do permit.
That's correct.
No, I'm just suggesting to do it on the plat right up front.
Right.
It's not going to hurt anything to have.
But it's already in our code.
Is it going to be observed, and does the buyer of the lot know if the house isn't built by that time and you sell the lot?
Yeah, but they got to come through a permit process. We check that stuff then.
I hope so. Makes it easier if it's just on the plat from the beginning.
If they want to put it on the plat, go ahead.
That'd be my recommendation. But the other thing is be very careful out here. You're in flood hazard area. The 100-year flood will be observed, and you just want to make sure you get your belt elevations up. You know, there's ways to mitigate, I suppose, for basement, but I really recommend you basements here for that reason. But be aware of elevation of everything, because that will affect future buyers, especially if they go through federal financing, veterans, FHA, etc. That could eliminate a lot of your market. And then be aware too, if you're below that flood hazard or flood elevation, I think you need an extra couple feet too, but you can work out that with the building department. But just be aware of it, because you'll be paying flood insurance, which could be a substantial addition.
Yeah, we've been on the farm, moved there in 71. And the only time we've really seen water pond up anywhere is just out there, approximately 150 feet west of 250 in that flat, kind of a low area right there. So then you kind of go up the, I don't know if you've been on the site before, but kind of an raised elevation as it comes up to the building site area. So
I'm just telling you to be aware of it.
Yeah.
Sure, one could
definitely.
just to protect the value of your assets, because the flood insurance, even for pre-existing houses, you know, it doesn't really get discovered a lot of times until somebody goes to sell their home, and then the mortgage companies, because it's pushed by the federal government that they need
Yeah, they frown on that. Yeah.
this, and it could limit your market. You know, it's you don't need to worry about it as a cash buyer. As far as flood insurance, you may still get flooded,
Right.
but
Still something for the future to think about.
yeah.
The contractor we're going to use is pretty reputable and experienced. William Mish, you probably know the Mish boys down in Wheatfield. They'll be doing the site work as far as the drive, and also his younger brother be the one that's going to be building the house, but they'll be doing all the site work at the house once we get to that point as well. But yeah, we can get them going on the driveway to begin with, and getting that widened to 16 feet, and the 8 or 9 inches that's required of the crushed limestone. Yeah, they're all probably in a week or two that'll be all set. If we get permits, they can go ahead and get started with that if we can.
Okay.
Anything else, Kevin?
Nope.
Mark?
Is that 16-foot wide road covered in a note in the on the first page, or okay?
I think there's a detail on the first page.
I saw the drive detail. I thought. Yeah, all I saw was the driveway.
The entrance.
Yeah, the driveway entrance from our standard drawing sheet V3.
I see what you're saying. This is the driveway.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a note in here, and again, there's a lot of words.
Yes. I swear I wanted to look for it, but at the same time I was a little intimidated. Yeah, I guess just making sure that is explicit on here that you have 16-foot wide call for the private roadway.
Correct. Yeah.
Meet the standard. Just make sure that's in there. If it's not, it would need to be added for secondary.
Yeah. Our existing drive, the main one coming off of 250, that's been there for who knows how many years, 100 years probably, is it's about approximately 11 foot right now. So they're got to add about 2.5 to 3 feet on each side of that to get to the 16 foot.
Right.
But once they get up to the buildings, then it's going to be basically starting from scratch or whatever, because we got kind of used to have a dirt path, and then we put some real crushed, like the screenings on top, and made it a nice roadway. But that's all going to be, started over from scratch. They'll go ahead and roll the dirt back probably 8 inches deep and bring in 20 or 30 loads of 53s.
Okay.
Which we got that quarry out there by Lowell by 65, which is not only about 7 or 8 miles away, so at least they don't have too far to truck it.
Sure.
But good.
No such thing as short haul. It's all
No, it's all doesn't matter. Does
the same.
load on, load off, yeah. But anyhow, that's and I think our apron coming up at 250 right there meets all the requirements. I think we done checked that as far as the width and all that coming off at 250, the apron itself.
So the apron, I think, would be good for agricultural. It might be too much for the shared residential use. It might actually need to be shaved down a bit to meet that. You could request a variance on that.
Can't be more.
I no, there's a maximum on it. Yeah. Why is there a maximum?
And it does, I want to add too, it does definitely, the apron slopes back away from 250. It goes back to the west, so there won't be no runoff coming out on the 250 there in heavy rains. It definitely slopes inward. Yeah.
Sure. So I would want to take a look at what that. I need to review that, so
Is that something we can review before signing secondary plat?
that'd be fine.
You want to make that a condition then of your?
I'll make that condition.
That's also noted in the engineering review letter that this would all get inspected prior. They have the option to either build to bond or to construct and have inspected. And I believe from talking to these folks, they were going towards just constructing it and having our office inspected prior to secondary conformance.
Gotcha. You show a cul-de-sac on the end. I know you mentioned this at the beginning, and sorry I couldn't quite follow it at the time, but is the intention to put a cul-de-sac at the end of this, or
Correct. Yes.
out with the gravel stone?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. The
Far west end, yeah. The far west end, yeah.
Okay.
And there's plenty of room out there for that.
Yeah, I see it called out on here, so
Yeah.
it'll work. To Kevin's point earlier about that existing culvert in the that private ditch, without having that inspected, I would be worried about any emergency travel over that. So maybe kind of blocking off with a gate or something for private use and calling that out in your plat. Because if there is, this being a private road, I'm just worried about fire trucks going through that and over it at the same time to get out. So,
As far as heavy truck traffic of some sort.
fire truck, large emergency vehicles.
Yeah.
Without that being inspected, that's private infrastructure. Technically, this thing needs to be, suitable for emergency vehicle access, since it's greater than 200 foot.
Okay.
No, this is.
David doesn't inspect this?
Well, no, the culvert itself, the culvert.
I'm sorry, I misheard.
So yeah, just making sure that the access can't be taken by an emergency vehicle down that way.
Okay, I'll make sure the contractor knows that. Like I said, he's pretty. I mean, as far as when it comes to common sense, that Bill Mish is probably one of the brightest in the area with all this stuff. But we'll make sure we mention that to him as well.
Okay, and or even call it, and for future, just when you're done with construction, just to make sure a fire truck that comes down doesn't instantly take that way down. If it does look similar the whole way, they might think it's a continuation of the private road. So just even delineate it with signs or a gate or something to notify emergency.
Okay, yeah.
They shouldn't be taking that path out.
Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't take. The good news is like coming from 250 up to where my mom lives in the old farmhouse, that will be, hopefully building right across from her. At least that part is be pretty quick. They just got to dig. He's got a mini excavator. Then go ahead and get to that 16-foot required width. That's going to be pretty quick, and they'll be able to do that in a couple 3 days. So that shouldn't be out of the. Be able to use that drive if an event of emergency comes up. And then the other one, the house that our old house coming off of 900, at least the fire department still get that. We won't be disturbing that at all. So the only thing that'll be take a little longer to get done will be that from the buildings to the cul-de-sac, which is going to have to be started from scratch. They'll have to roll off 8 inches deep the topsoil and then put their crushed stone in there and all that. So that might take a week or so for that project. They're pretty good about getting in and getting things done in a timely manner. So.
Okay.
How old is that 48-inch pipe?
Pardon?
How old is the 48-inch corrugated pipe that's crossing the ditch?
As far as that culvert right there, we put that in. And so we moved on the farm in '71, but I think we put that culvert in because actually Bill Mish, I think, put that in approximately probably like in the late '80s. Yeah. So it's probably.
You're probably 40 years old. Design life on those.
Yeah.
Year less. So you might talk to Mish about.
We might want to inspect that and see what it looks like inside there as far as rust, whatever, whatnot.
Well,
deteriorate.
Hopefully the department takes a look at it too. But yeah, corrugated metal pipe, no pipe lasts forever.
Yeah, 40.
This is getting close to design life, and since you're going to be living here particularly,
yeah,
you
might be a bad idea while he's out there doing everything else to go ahead and replace that. Where you're saying.
And Mish might have a ductile iron or some other pipe that'd be suited for this. I recommend
that might be a good idea. Yeah,
ductile iron.
Because we go across that with heavy. Yeah, a lot of heavy, like the farmer when he we cash rent out the farm. We've done since '78. But anyway, he goes across that with a single axle grain cart with 1,000 bushel on it, and there's a lot of weight on that axle, obviously.
Well, back in the '70s and '80s, we didn't load up the corn wagons like we do now. So we have a lot heavier equipment.
Yeah,
a lot heavier.
And I've got semis as well. I go through there sometimes myself. We haul out and everything. Yeah,
we load them to the max. So
yeah, not a bad idea, and it could even be a little wider too, because it's a little narrow with that grain cart going across there.
To my next thing.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
I don't recall that being really too wide, but for the safety of your family, you might want a wider.
Yeah, exactly. Another couple foot won't hurt a thing. So okay, I'll definitely factor that in when he gets out there. But I said, well, he's got the equipment right there. That's the main thing. Yeah, get everything done that you can possibly think that you'd like to see done. Yeah.
Any other comments, Martin?
That's it for me.
Rich?
No, good.
Susan?
Just about the setbacks on that lot of this lot three. I did double check the water side setback in our UDO. That does only apply to lakefront lots.
Oh.
So their setback would be the property line. However, there's no flood zone along that creek.
No, it's not a flood zone. It's in proximity to it. So they have a base flood elevation. You just want to be observed all the way around it. Because I don't think they did the study of this, so we don't know what those elevations are regardless.
I'd entertain a motion. Well, one clarification. They brought up, Bill, easement and maintenance agreement. You've got those worked out and referenced for the driveway.
My hearing is so bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my,
Driveway maintenance agreement. I thought I heard someone talk about that. You got that worked out with to tie all the lots to the driveway for maintenance and access easement.
A driveway agreement, you're saying?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to do.
you've done those before.
Yeah.
Lots of them. So,
All right. That's the only question I had. Anyone would like to make a motion on this?
But is that maintenance, is that included in the plat or is it separate?
It's usually a separate recorded document.
Okay, I would probably reference it on your secondary plat to say that's where.
Right. We would put that together first, and usually that's shown.
You'll get that
recorded before.
You'll get that before the secondary plat.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. I think
Any other comments? Someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve, subject to you had
I said including the driveway composition and width notes.
And the driveway maintenance and access agreement.
An access agreement. Correct.
is one question on that drive as far as the new, that's going to be started from scratch, the west end, the west half of the drive that goes to cul-de-sac. 53s is probably fine on that too, right? The 53s.
Crushed stone is all you need for.
Yeah. Okay. We don't need to put no 23s down to begin with, I don't think, because there's a pretty good base there. So 53 should be sufficient then.
That's all we call out. If there is any unsuitable soil that you've noticed in the areas, once you need to, bridge those stresses further down, you can undercut it with 2s or something.
Okay.
But
That's
look during your construction when you have the heavy equipment out there, do a proof roll on it. And
okay. That's what. Yeah.
Okay, so we have approval with conditions. Do we have a second?
second.
Second by Dave. Any other further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to excuse myself. I have another commitment to go to. Kevin, will you go over?
Sure. Now we're going to case UV 2026-35, Nancy Calafati. And this is just an informal review, and you're planning on operating farmers market.
No, actually, it was very interesting that was the summary that came out in the letter.
Okay, that's why we're bringing it up.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
we've owned the property for 10 years. It was the northern. Should we start normally? I'm Nancy Calafati, 122 Phillip Lane.
James Coleman, 122 Phillip,
Okay.
her husband.
Okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, we purchased the property. We were in the room almost exactly 10 years ago fighting rezoning of it to be commercial. And I bought it out from under the developer to keep it from becoming commercial.
You were the one.
I was the one.
I was there.
You were there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I worked in online real estate. And it was very easy to understand contingent, and you could make a cash offer and win. So anyway, so we've been treating it as an agricultural property for the last 10 years. Sometime in 2021, we were part of the Porter County Master Gardener's Garden Walk there because we had made it a really beautiful place. That was the first day that we were open to the public. And we decided that in order to share the space with the community, we would be open on select Sundays for people to do garden walks. And we put our farm stand there, selling the produce that we sell there. And then we opened it to some neighbors to sell some of their products during those farm stands. It has slowly evolved to the point that it's about time we said, you know what, this isn't an ag property, but we need a use variance to be treated as ag. Because the things that we're doing are not strictly allowable in an R1 district. So we would like to be able to have, like a farmer's market, we would like to be able to have a permitted secondary structure without a primary structure because we never intend to build a house on that property. And we would like, I guess, changes in the driveway rules because our driveway needs to be wider than allowable in R1 in order to allow the traffic. So those are really, it's a use variance to say this is R1, but treat us like ag.
Okay. Susan, could you explain this a little bit more? Because I don't quite understand what's all going on. Right.
So, just to be aware. Also, this originally came to our department as a drainage complaint from one of the neighboring properties. Because of the various improvements that we
Mm.
with stormwater. Our department either has they've done the inspection. I don't know if there's been a resolution yet, but in the course of that inspection from the stormwater department, they did identify this operation going on and approach the applicant that this would be the path moving forward.
Okay.
I know Dan Boyd did have some comments for this, so if you wanted comments, I can share his. But right now they're asking for the use areas to continue what they're doing, and it sounds like potentially build a permanent structure.
Well, we have a secondary structure that's currently unpermitted because we can't actually ask for a permit for a secondary structure when there is no primary. So we are in violation. We'd rather not be in violation. We'd like to be treated as we'd like to fill out the permit and keep that secondary structure.
And this is a matter that ultimately goes to the BCA. So, yeah, whatever we say today,
Yeah,
is subject to what the BCA does. So,
I don't know what the BCA.
be aware of
What is the BCA? Educate me.
Pardon?
What is that? I don't know.
Board of Zoning Appeal.
Oh, okay. So the meeting on the 15th. Okay.
Okay.
The application you still have.
Okay.
They granted this is just an informal review.
Okay. Do you have, are there additional questions for what we're looking? I guess then the summary is really what we need the use variance for is to continue. We call it a craft fair because it is not a farmer's market because we don't invite other, farmers because you can in R1 sell food that you grow on that property, which is what we've been limiting it to.
Well, respectfully, your application says to allow limited farm-centered gatherings
Yes.
supporting agriculture use, including a farm stand and small seasonal market with local products and artisans. That's a farm market in my.
Okay. All right. In me, a farmer's market has more than one farmer. Okay.
So just for clarity.
Okay.
I think it's good to speak to BZA in terms of exact.
All right. So that's their definition of farmer's market. It's not mine.
What can I say?
Okay, I've been kicked under the table.
Susan, do you have another comment?
I could share Dan's comments if that's okay.
Please.
Appreciate it.
So, Dan Boyd, health department usually sits on this board. He's not here today. He did send us the email. His first comment was, will there be restrooms available with septic or porta-johns if septic soil volume can be completed and submitted to IDEM, that's the Indiana Department of Health. And if it is going to be the porta potties, they need to be maintained and can't create a health issue. And then his other comment was that you would have to contact the food division to obtain a permit. And have food trucks on site.
Okay, that we didn't know. But
okay.
There's a porta potty that we have under contract with Service Sanitation. It's one of the nicer flushable units with the sink and everything inside, and it's maintained the Wednesday before every event.
David?
Okay.
This precipitated out of stormwater issues.
That is correct. A drainage complaint was submitted against the site, at which point other improvements had been found. I know that Martin will also have comments related to some work that was done within the right-of-way there when we get to his comments. As far as the department that I work in, inspections have taken place where some improvements were found. The applicants were called in and we talked about some planned work that could get put together to show what had been done and where it had been done. In terms of the drainage ticket, I went out to the site, I believe it was last week. Unfortunately, the week that we had all the rain, I was out of the office. Trying to find a day where we get a nice stiff rain during business hours to go observe the properties.
You picked a bad week for a vacation because that was a really rainy week.
I heard. I came back to a whole drainage complaints. That's right. It was pretty nutty apparently, but I did. I had a light rain that I went to go check out the neighborhood that had submitted the drainage complaints, and we have not resolved that yet. I still want to see it in a larger rain event to see how it responds. At this time, looking back at historical topography, I have a hard time right now seeing that what you all did caused a drainage issue for those folks.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that way to me right now. I don't doubt that I understand the drainage complaint that's being submitted. I just at this point, from what I can see right now, I have a hard time tying it to what you all did.
Yeah, and actually, it's an interesting. We don't know what neighbor it was, but we have talked to a number of them. At least one of them says the buildup of, like, damming the water running off of our property has made his property dry for the first time in years.
Actually, there's two of them.
There's two on the other side. Yeah,
right, and that's not
to
that's not to say that the work shouldn't have included, you know, a review done in advance. Again, it's just saying that as of right now, that particular concern coming in, I'm kind of hard pressed to see how, because it would seem from the aerial imagery that your site was always higher than that.
Oh yeah, we did
Right.
higher.
So like, well, if you made it higher with the mulch, why would that?
Yeah.
Like, to your point, I almost feel like if anything, it would possibly.
One of the problems is there's a higher point in the property, and it was sloping down toward their property, and then we built the mulch up to keep that from running into theirs and stay, because we want to keep all the water we can. We're growing food,
right?
So we want that water.
Well, and a lot of times what happens, it's not unique to your property. A lot of times what happens, and you see this all the time with our drainage complaint system, or when people remonstrate against development, you know, oh, if those folks do something, it's going to give me a problem. And what, unfortunately, one of the benefits of the county review process when reviews do get done is that it gets checked against those things, because we see frequently somebody does something, the neighborhood comes out and says, oh, because you did this, it caused my problem. We can go back and look at the old complaints, or we can look at old topography or old imagery and go, that always looked like that.
Yeah.
But again, when somebody's done work that's not permitted, it kind of becomes a really easy way to be like, oh, that must be why I'm having my problem. And in their mind, I think oftentimes they believe it, because, oh, you know, I see a problem now, and, you know, there's a pile of mulch over there. That must be what caused this.
Right.
But again, at this point, I do think that there's some work that you're going to have to do with the county in support of what you've already done or what else you may want to do. But I don't, at this point, I don't think you've really negatively impacted the folks that are claiming that you have. Yeah. But again, I do want to go out there and look, give them a fair shake. When we have a nice stiff rain during business hours, I can go out and observe it. But
yeah, we're willing to put in the sweat equity to fix anything you find. We'd like your professional opinion, but it is really important to us. We have low impact. We don't want to impact the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Could I add that when this complaint happened, one, the ground was still frozen, so water is going to stand, and two, it was before NIPSCO came through and removed the scrub trees on the property line.
Mm-hmm.
And now that those are gone, you've been there recently, you could see that there's a drainage ditch there, and then another one that cuts out into the street. So the lower side is, I don't know, I didn't trespass to take a measurement, but it looks like 7 to 8 feet lower than the peak of my property. So, and then the houses along the back side, all their yards ramp up to higher than my property, 6 or 8 feet in from the property line.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing's going that way.
Right.
And if you can look back at prior pictures, you could see, and forgive me, I don't know what it's called, but there was a big, like, funnel-shaped area made with riprap that all the water used to drain into Calumet. And that was one of the first things I blocked off to keep the water on the property. So, if anything, there is way less water
on
running off than there used to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I concur with you, David. This is a 50-year-old, 60-year-old neighborhood that there haven't been a lot of changes over the last 20 years.
Right.
Anything that changes in a community, and suddenly the fingers point to that because that's the only change. But the reality is we had rainfalls that were very intense. And that was what we did
And
this year, I think. Historically, we've had issues with people who would sump out their basements, discharge to the street, and they got crossways with a former county highway engineer, not Martin, but the county rules have them bring their drainage pipe back away from the right of way, I think 40 feet. And that created a lot of heartburn for locals 25, 30 years ago.
Okay.
And but that's kind of the ongoing discussion. We've looked at so many different ways. It's hard to retrofit such an old subdivision
yeah,
cost effectively.
Right.
yeah, and we
And there's also just a lot of varying opinions as to what constitutes a drainage concern. I mean, in our office up on the third floor here, I mean, we hear from folks, we all know what the weather's been like lately. I think that because they can't mow their grass that day, they have a drainage. Well, no, we just got 3 inches of rain in 2 days, so yeah, your yard's wet. But
yeah, and as an owner of 2 homes in that property area, septic systems don't last 50 years in clay soil without fracking. People need to frack their septic systems. We've saved both of our yards.
Yeah. Well, you add to that the soils are very compacted.
Yeah.
Till as
Yeah.
Right.
And they're 50 years old at this point.
And they degrade over time. Yeah, it's gonna degrade. Yeah.
And water just doesn't seep in. It kind of displaces laterally once it goes in the ground.
Right.
It doesn't keep.
Which is the beauty of what I've built there. I mean, I've added so much organic matter into this Indiana clay that it's just a sponge. It holds it for days.
Yeah.
So.
And in terms of what you were talking about with any previous swales or anything out there, just it's something, and I know that Martin's going to have some comments related to the right-of-way area. It's just we do advise folks to just be cautious of any types of modifications that you make to a drainage system. Some of them are regulated by the county, some of them are not. But it can still, if you do something that changes water flow. I mean, I've even seen issues that have come where somebody has blocked off water thinking, oh, everybody's going to be really happy because I want water. And it turns out the folks downstream also wanted water for various reasons.
Yeah.
So just my advice would be anytime that you're going to do something that's going to impact drainage, to at least give our office a call and to see, is there something I should be, is there something I should be doing? Or is there somebody that does need to look at this rather than just making the changes?
Yeah.
And I have dealt with your office in the past, but that was in the
Great.
Was like 9 years ago.
Okay.
It's probably
Nobody's there
different.
anymore. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're constantly looking for solutions at the department.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you all again once things work out and I can and go look at a storm live. I'll get back to you if I see if it seems that if there's something that you all could do to be better neighbors. But like I said, at this point, I think that you probably hit the nail on the head that there are folks that probably just need to do some maintenance to their yard. And it's just the nature, what the soil's like over there.
Before NIPSCO cleaned out the scrub trees, I don't even think they knew that drainage ditch was there.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been maintained in 20-something years.
And a lot
Right.
of people have firewood in it, so it's blocking any movement.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Martin?
Yeah, the drainage concerns that we had was within the right of way, as we discussed in our meeting. So just to kind of put that on this record, and you're adjacent to your parking area and into the right of way, you've kind of built it up over the years, right? With mulch and other things of that nature, right?
Yeah, just to keep the weeds down.
And that's over the years gone into the ditch line a bit. So, my concern, and I was out there for a heavy rain, I did see water kind of going around your driveway instead of through. There's no culvert in your driveway.
Right. Or after the paving, because it's beautiful since the paving.
Oh,
Calumet is gorgeous now.
Well, thank you for that. It's good treatment. But yeah, it's during those heavy rains, it's still going to.
Yeah.
It's going to surcharge in that ditch and go around your driveway instead of under it. So, the one item that I did have for that, if you were to proceed with and be granted a use variance, is that your driveway would need to be updated to the commercial standards and include a include a culvert underneath that.
We
And
were wondering about that, and we were wondering if there would be, the county would then dig a ditch on either side for us to connect to, because right now both areas it's flat on either side. There's nothing for us to connect.
That would be on your, that'd be under your guide. So if
You would have to dig a
Okay.
correct,
right of way.
correct. You'd need to get a right of way permit to do it. But yeah, for this improvement that you want to do, for you're going after, you'd have to perform the work to make it happen.
Okay.
So
And we're willing to do that. We just didn't have dimensions or anything.
sure, yeah.
But we need a separate use variance to have a wider driveway than allowable in R1.
That wouldn't be part of your use variance. And Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that would be a design waiver for their plan that they submit. Correct?
Close. It would be a development standards variance,
There we go.
which is a separate application.
Right.
Please don't tell me it requires 20 notified letters.
Sorry.
It's not so bad.
Yeah.
It is. It's bad.
Well, when you're trying to survive selling tomatoes, man, that wiped out
It wiped
my
that
whole
whole-
year's profit.
it wiped that dollar we made so far this year.
Yeah, and yeah. So we do need to keep the water off the roadway. We need to keep it safe for the traveling public, and that's what's prompting this. It's not us picking on you. It's
I get it.
uniformly applying our standards to everybody.
Yeah.
So
When this started, that was my first dealings with the stormwater department. Was I dug out this existing entrance to the property, and I hired a local guy to come bring me some stone. And I talked to him about it, and he said since it was an existing entrance that was already on the road, that I didn't need a permit. Halfway through the process, one of the ladies from the stormwater department stopped and told me I needed a permit. So I went into the office to get the permit. And then we talked for a bit, and she told me she'd take care of it. What happened from there, I don't know. But we've also discovered in that process that the main fiber optic at that time for 911 was right there. So I'm not sure even how to do a culvert there without disrupting 911 service.
So it would just be placing it not through that fiber. So all you have to do is call in an 811 ticket, and your contract with the hire will be plenty able to take care of that. Or if you do it yourself, whatever.
Oh, I won't do it myself.
No, we
But-
put ourselves.
I
We
But yeah, when you
Frontier already had everything painted where it was, and I'm like going, I don't know how you do anything in this right of way.
so you would need to get
911.
you'd need a pothole to see how deep it is. It's possible you could go on top of it. You just need to get there and investigate and see. But
Okay.
there's always a path around it, and you can contact the utility as well to let them know, hey, I need to perform this work, and get in contact with them if something needs to move. But I'd imagine there's some design solutions where you're not going to have to touch the utilities. Okay. And when you do submit for your permit for a driveway permit in the future, should you be granted these variances, I'll help you look at them. Just let me know that.
All right, thank you.
It'll be in my memory, but we'll talk about it at that time.
Okay.
And I'll send a note to our right-of-way manager for that as well. So further south of your driveway, further south of your driveway is where the fill areas were. We just need to make sure that we have an appropriate swale in there to carry the water to let it continue going south. So any future development plan that you might submit would need to accommodate that, and your right-of-way. You need a right-of-way permit to perform that grading to make sure that we can get water to keep flowing south.
Okay.
So and that's just because the fill was placed in the right-of-way, we didn't permit it, so we got to go back and make sure this stuff can carry the water, if that makes sense.
When you say fill, you mean the wood chips filling in?
Correct. Any material that you placed in the right-of-way.
Well, it kind of fell, but we mow it.
What's that?
It fell down the hill, right? So and then we mow it and it flattens it out. So will somebody be mowing that area more frequently? Because we won't be.
We mow twice to 3 times a year, which is our standard for any county highway. And that's if it's not maintained by the property owner.
Right, but
I've
once it's
just maintained it like
And that's
lawn.
that's your choice.
yeah, but once it's a ditch, will you be able to?
No, just
Okay.
not an issue for now.
If you this is your opportunity to design it the way you want it. You can put it at 3-to-1 slope so that you can mow it.
That would be great.
So that's up to you though with how you proceed with your design plan after that.
And which department would we have to speak with for this?
We would still be reviewing that. Our department would.
Highway.
So after these, and I'm not the most intimate with these processes, but after this design variance process or use variance process, you'd be submitting a development plan and requesting design standard variances at that time as well. Kind of.
Dependent on the motion of the BCA.
Right. If
The granting of a use variance alone doesn't necessarily trigger a development plan. However, most of the time the BCA will then say you need a development plan to address parking. You'll have to address the driveway no matter what.
right.
But as far as like parking and landscaping and other things that are required with the development plan, BCA can choose to require that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, there are some. I'm just saying there's some items that I would want to see addressed in order for me to approve the use that you're proposing.
Okay.
Or for me to recommend approval. So I would want to see the driveway improvements and the right of way improvements after a use variance is granted.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Rich, did you have anything to add?
No, I think you guys talked about the drainage around water running around the drive and out into the pavement.
And I've mentioned this a long time in the past. I'll just bring it up again. It doesn't really affect you, but we're always looking for ways to get access to the cemeteries for the township trustees.
Mhm.
And although it's not entirely within your property,
I
if
did.
there's some way we could figure out to get the trustee back at least that far, and he could talk to another neighbor to get.
Yeah, actually, you weren't able to get to that at all until we started cleaning it up. So you
Thank
have access to that cemetery from our property, but it's mostly in Wild Rose.
Pardon? It's in Wild Rose,
It's in the Wild.
but it makes it very difficult. And
Yeah.
they really didn't set aside. They set aside easement.
Yeah, we actually even put a gate in our fence right there so somebody could get
Thank you.
there. And we were thinking of maybe trying to get the Boy Scouts to come help us clean it up if we could get somebody to give us permission to do it. Or
Well,
It's
the
all
trustees
about
are always looking for volunteers, and
yeah,
because they're so underfunded.
Yeah.
You hear that from government a lot, but really,
Yeah.
it's responsibility for cemeteries that are more than 100 years
And this-
old that are privately held.
Yeah.
They all kind of drift into the auspices of the township trustee. It's one of the
Right.
jobs they have, but it makes it even tougher when they try to figure out how they can access. Because a lot of times the last burial took place 100 plus years ago.
1955, somebody buried their dog named Pierre there, as far as I know.
Hmm.
There's the only headstone we've ever seen is Pierre.
So that was 70 years ago. Still, it's tough to get access. I appreciate cooperating with their township trust.
Yeah.
Their job's tough enough as
I just have to make sure that
some relative demands that they get back there to.
we actually had to send a certified letter to the burying ground.
Pardon?
We had to send a certified letter to the Center Township burying ground. So I'm hoping that comes off the list for this next set.
Their property doesn't directly touch those.
No, it does not.
No.
That's why it's
immediate.
more different avenues they have, and the possibility of going to the south and working with the landowner to the south a little bit too.
Yeah, Daniel would be happy to let you clean up the area right there in front.
That's one of the bad things about a lot of these developments. Nothing against Wild Rose or yours for that matter, but they didn't make provisions
Mhm.
on their recorded plats to give at least access to the trustee, if not public access. I understand not having public access.
Yeah.
To,
And it's easier to maintain now because part of the water management that we have done, we stopped all the runoff in that direction. That used to flood. Almost all runoff from our farm used to flood that burying ground, so we fixed that.
Thank you. Anyway, I didn't have anything else.
I got a question. I'm looking at your site plan. So I see where it says farm stand accessory. So that's your accessory structure you're talking about?
Yeah.
And then gravel parking area also says accessory. Is there like a carport or?
No.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's.
Not accessory.
My definition of accessory is it's something that's not directly related to agriculture. Like it's not the primary use of the property; it's an accessory to the property.
And then I don't see on have vendors and food trucks
in the
that-
open lawn area.
in the open lawn area? Okay. And how many vendors do you have at your events? Like rate?
12.
12?
Yeah.
We have the ability to go up to about 20.
Okay.
So
And so they just are parking on the lawn?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have like electricity that they hook
No.
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 How many cars can you fit in your gravel parking area?
Probably 20. Well, probably 30.
30 to 40.
Okay. And do you feel like when you have your events, it usually fills up? Do you have a good turnout?
We've had things fill up to the point that we've actually had some of the vendors who brought a secondary vehicle for their spouse or whatever. We had them park on the 154 Johnson property, which we also own.
That's all the questions I have.
And I'm glad you brought that up because typically BCA will be asking about hours of operation, lighting,
No lighting.
those things you can think of. I don't need the answers, but I
10 to 3 Sundays, 26 weeks a year. Yeah, it's 10 to 3 on Sundays.
just have that in mind that, and might even submit that lighting, noise. One of the things we're very careful about. We don't want our sheriff's department out there ticketing people for parking along Calumet.
Oh yeah.
And be careful of your neighbors on Johnson, which you're one of them. But
yeah,
you tend to have people with overflow start parking.
Yeah.
Every place.
We have an overflow location on our property, so we just have them
on
there.
Calumet Avenue is where I see people that might just get out of their car and just abandon it. It's unsafe. The other issue that comes to mind is any signage that you have and what the county requirements will be for permanent or temporary signs.
Well, we have a grandfathered sign. It's been there for over 100 years.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's not for, but for okay. This is informal, so you're prepared for BCA, their question, and Susan will have more input in that, and hopefully have a picture of the sign for them.
And even though the sign's grandfathered, if you change the face, you need a new permit. You don't redo the whole sign, but you do still need a sign permit to change like the face of the sign.
Well, we wouldn't. I mean, it's historical. It's been there since 1890s. So okay. If I change my mind, the Porter County Museum has asked to have it, so we would have to get to them.
Also subject to a new sign permit.
Yeah. No, I'm not removing it. It was part of the reason I wanted that property. Important to the county.
Okay. Well, it's also, you have control over it since you're the neighbor.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people a lot. If you want to control it, own it, and then you know what's going to happen with that property.
Mm.
So it doesn't really negatively impact you for your purpose. So, neat. Anything else good for the cause?
Just one last comment, so you're aware, you'll be told you already. Because we got the accessory structure without a permit, we do have an early bird fine. The cost for the permit will be 2 times the regular cost.
Okay. They are portable buildings. I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
No.
Over 80 square feet, that falls
Which it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When we had the other meeting, I said that they were arriving. What can I do? And they were like, "You do this," and I said, "I can't. I don't have a primary structure." And they're like, "Oh, you're right." So, I mean, I couldn't do the permit anyway. So that's.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in informal, so we don't need a motion. And good luck with BCA. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Would have felt better with a motion and approve like everybody said.
Well, you gotta wait. Be patient.
Motion to enjoy the tomatoes.
Next case is BO 2026-13, Michael Satoski. This is also an informal review of a zone of 7 lots to residential lake district to allow construction of 1 single family home. Thank you. Will you introduce yourselves?
I am Michael Satoski, 836 Elm Street.
Owen Zatoski, professional engineer for HW Locker, 286 West Johnson Road, LaPorte.
I am seeking the approval to rezone from R4 multifamily units, which I really don't have an interest in at this time. I'd like to zone to RL, which is what the entire community is over there, to build myself a home. And you're very specific about one home. 5 years from now, might want to build another home. So I don't want to be limited to just one home on the 7 lots.
And I should mention the current zoning is R4 multifamily residential district. You're basically asking to downzone the 1.38 acres
to RL.
So sounds good. If you have nothing else, we'll start with David.
All right, I'll start off with Dan Boyd not being able to be here. Dan Boyd provided a message this morning with his comments related to all the projects. And for ZO 2026-13, Michael Satoski, he has no comments or concerns. That's from Dan Boyd, Porter County Health Department.
Can I ask, is that because are you doing Valparaiso Lakes Area Conservancy District wastewater? Or?
The wastewater will be that. The city water will be coming from Valparaiso. It actually is on the property, and I've got approval from both.
Okay, that's where I was going, because Dan typically is making comment on septic field, but if you're not,
there's no
septic field or well,
no,
then he has no comments.
Yeah.
So thank you for.
Yeah, he got off pretty easy today. 3 out of 4 he had comments or concerns. Mr. Satoski actually visited our office for a pre-application meeting fairly recently. I think it was in the last 2 or 3 weeks or so. So we've already reviewed quite a bit of his request within our office. For the record, I would just state some of the things that we discussed. You already mentioned this, that there were certain parts of the site that you would be looking to avoid, like the wetland areas that are within the lots that you own. Should you accomplish the rezoning, and when you go to seek the the homes, obviously you'd be focused on your elevations that you need to hit, especially considering water in the area. So you would just be mindful of elevations during your design. Our office would review in more detail at that time when you actually had a defined site plan that you were submitting to the office. We would be looking at it at that time. But as we discussed, the rezone was kind of your step one in this process. Outside of that, at this point, since we're just talking about a rezone, I wouldn't have any additional commentary at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Highway Engineer, Mr. Bobchick.
I mean, it looks like you're going to be accessing on the secondary road there, not on Burlington Beach.
Charles Street,
correct. No, I really don't have any comment at this time other than maybe looking at the time of driveway permit, we'll just be looking for a path of water in the area to see if we need a culvert or whatever the natural surface flow of water is going to be in that area. That's about all I have.
And I might suggest you take a look at our county GIS, look at the topography if you don't already have a topography, and that should give you a good idea of what your flow paths are. And it's available for free online. So.
Got an engineer right in the family.
Yeah,
right.
3 of them.
We'll put them to work. Now that you know that I didn't know if he was aware that we have a pretty robust website. So.
Yeah. Maybe the proximity of your driveway proposed, just confirm that meets our offset requirements for your proposed zoning. That'd be in the future, just to give you a heads up though. I see you have a layout that you like. Got to make sure that our driveway can work with that whenever you submit for that permit.
for sure.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Rich?
No, this has been going, they've tried developing this for the last 40 years in the Conservancy District, and never happened. I think Steve Wagner was involved with it one.
He was.
It'll be nice to have that. Nice looking there.
Hey.
That's my goal, is to make it a park-like setting with homes that increase property value. I don't want to lose money, right? My question would be, R4 states in there, and I know they gave me the definition, but it says single family attached dwelling. Why can't that attached dwelling be attached garage? Does it have to be multi-families attached together? It specifically says single family in R4. Is all this even necessary? Susan.
So, I think you might have already emailed on
You did.
and this is the definition.
You did.
Family attached. So that is at least 3 attached homes, row homes, townhouses
Mm-hmm.
on their own parcels. Is that what you're proposing?
No, I do not want a common wall.
So that's
right.
A single family detached is what you're describing.
It's just vague. When it says attached, could that apply to the garage being attached? Single family attached garage.
Well, that's why I sent you our definition.
Okay.
Single family attached dwelling is.
And is there a variance that allows you to build something under multifamily, just not up to multi? You know, let's say RL. I can't build a multifamily, but since I'm zoned multifamily, would that encompass everything below it as well?
Yeah.
A lot of times.
I talked to you about your option district rehabbing.
They did.
I prefer to either ask for a use variance to allow for a single family home or a rezone, which is what you're doing.
So you're telling me I could just apply for a variance?
You could have applied for a variance, but that would have had its own process, and it's just a different process.
It's still a public hearing, and it doesn't save you much time.
And there's a chance they'll say no. I mean, it's either way. But if you ask for a use variance to build one house, you have to ask for another use variance.
No, that's why I did this, because now I remember that was his point, and it was a good point. Just get it done. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to make sure I don't want to be just labeled for one house on these 7 lots.
So even though it's 7 lots in terms of the original plat, you only have 1 parcel.
It's 1 parcel.
Combined. So
yes.
You have 1 house on 1 parcel in Porter County.
For now.
If you wanted to, that's our rule forever. But if you wanted to split those and do a replat, you could do that.
Yes.
And that would be the subdivision process that you would have to go through at that time.
So those are plotted 7 lots right now.
But they've all been combined, so now you just have 1 parcel.
Okay.
But you can possibly consider a replat in the future for 2 houses or whatever, ever many fit the ordinance.
Okay.
Because they're relatively small lots, you're not going to get a lot of lots per house.
That's why I want to be RL. Setbacks are a little bit less, and that's what they all are out there.
Okay.
Well, then you're in the right place.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you're giving good advice, because from a plan commission perspective, it's a little bit quicker and clearer, and the plan commission will like the down zone aspect of it. I think it's favorable.
Okay.
I can't speak for the rest of the plan commission, but
sounds good.
We'll see how we go. But I'm optimistic that should cover you. I don't really have anything else with this. Rich?
I'm good.
I was going to just mention to him to be aware that the MS4, now, is it going to be Porter County MS4 or the Lakes Area Conservancy District?
If they
MS4.
are in the Conservancy District, it'll be LAC's.
They will be, yeah. But you just have to be very careful of getting mud on the streets. Otherwise, you have to answer to Porter County Highway. Mm-hmm. Make sure you have construction plan, pad, and have a whole erosion control plan for the site.
Yeah, Felicio.
Yeah, and you don't need to do the state for more than an acre would require Rule 5, but I don't think you have an acre here.
It's 1.38 acres.
Is it 1.38?
It is.
So that would be
I stand corrected. Pardon?
That would be all 7. So if you're not disturbing more than an acre,
okay,
then you wouldn't have to go to the
right.
Sounds good.
We just want to make all that clear, because sometimes when they take that whole plot and they just redo the entire lawn or whatever, taper it down to just
sure
building in the house footprint, you're dealing with enforcement from VLACD, not us. But our concern would be more with highway. And
That's good advice. Thank you.
they're on the road.
Yeah.
Kevin, just
Yeah.
a question for Martin. I wrote down here just roads. I know Burlington Beach is maintained by the county.
Correct.
Mhm.
In this area, yes.
The other two roads on either side, are they conserved?
Charles, I believe we do.
Yeah.
I can give.
I thought we did both of them.
I didn't review that prior to
We have
this.
that Birdland down the road, and we get
That's different.
quite the mess when we talk about maintenance.
Yeah.
These are more.
Yeah.
These are 50-foot right.
These were
Over
actually
in-
dedicated roads because they're part of Hayden Manor and they were dedicated right away. Where the other section,
Conservancy.
yeah. But as far as highway with the roads, where we have the dedicated right of way rather than easements. And they're part of your inventory, I'm pretty sure.
Double checking.
Please do. If not, I think we've been running snowplows and school buses on them, so.
That wouldn't be the first time.
No, I know.
So we got. It's John on the other side, or
Yes.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, Charles, we repaved. I know that one's in our maintenance, and John is as well. Both are.
So all three
Okay. Yeah.
And Burlington Beach, correct.
I just have one last question. Are you related to Kent Satoski?
Yep. He's my brother.
Very good.
Yeah.
My opinion, a good contractor. So, anything else from this group?
Nope.
Do you have any questions for us?
I had these papers taken upstairs, and they told me maybe to hand them to Monica down here. Is Monica here?
Monica's not here.
Yes, she is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So give her up. Stand up, Monica.
Yeah, I can grab them.
Do you want?
Thank you. I didn't see her.
That's intentional. You don't want to be called into it.
Dadgummit, you made it an hour and 37 minutes by the sea. That's got to be a record.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Oh dear.
Thought you could hide.
Right.
Right. The whole line of the last case been discovered.
So your next step is going to be the plan commission meeting that you said your notice is for.
10 days prior, bring in the green slips, right? Okay.
We'll see you then.
Thank you.
And if you have no other questions, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.